Oh yeah, forget vocal technique, at least for now. I'm Mike Goodrich. In case you don't know me, I've been a vocal coach in Los Angeles for about 32 years. I have worked with normal people like myself, celebrities, record companies, movie studios, got about people in about 25 Broadway shows. Who cares? None of that matters unless I can help you. So let's see if I can right now. Let's jump into why I'm telling you to forget vocal technique, at least for now. There was a great opera singer. I know you probably don't want to sing opera, but his name was Enrico Caruso. And he said this, and I'm quoting, and I'm reading, "The beauty of a voice lies not in its technical perfection, but in its ability to move the listener." So you can have the greatest technique in the world and leave audiences cold. You could be a fantastic pianist and be so technically proficient it begins to look like you're typing and feel the same way. You can be the same way as a singer. You can be so technically proficient it gets boring. I was teaching a class one time, a performance class that I taught in Los Angeles. And there was a guy that got up that performed beautifully. He sang great and he played piano beautifully. And I was sitting in the audience wondering why I wasn't feeling anything. And it hit me at the end, and I said to him, that was incredibly impressive. I was impressed, but I wasn't moved. And it hit me in that moment what was going on. There was no connection. And I started talking to him. It was a song he'd written. It was a beautiful song, and he did it really well. And he started explaining to me what the song was about to him that I hadn't gotten in the song when he performed it. And he told me the lyric, and I had the lyric sheet in front of me, and I asked him questions about it, and I got him into an emotional place where the song that he had written became personal to him. And he started performing it again, and about 3 lines into it, he started crying because the song finally started making sense to him again. And he had a connection with the lyric, and the minute he had that connection with the lyric and connections to himself emotionally, he opened the door to the audience who could then feel. If he wasn't feeling anything but, I'm trying to sing this perfectly and play this perfectly, there's a wall between the performer and the audience. The audience won't feel anything because the performer is not giving the audience permission to feel anything deep other than concern for the performer. We will worry for the performer if the performer is worried. So if a singer is up there singing and they're afraid they're going to forget the words, concerned about their voice, trying to be perfect, or any myriad of things that, we have all done, we're singers, what's going to happen then is there's a wall between the singer and the audience. And the audience is sitting there, and the singer could be technically proficient, singer could be technically great, getting all the notes, and the audience is going to be looking at their watch thinking, how much longer is this going to last? Because I kind of heard them do that already, and it's impressive, but I'm not really feeling anything. What was it I needed at Whole Foods? So you have to have the connection. I teach 3 different things that are all uniquely the same. The synergy of the 3 really make for great singing. I call it the MTP Formula. It's mindset, technique, and performance. In whatever order you want to put them, but I'll tell you, many, many times, technique, and this is coming from a technique teacher that has taught technique for 32 years, that used to think it was all about technique. This is coming from that guy, right? Sometimes out of those 3, technique runs a dead last. And it is the least important thing. Because if you are not connecting with yourself and connecting with the lyric and connecting with the audience, connecting with the music, from a performance standpoint and an emotional standpoint, check off that box because that's not happening, right? If you don't have the proper mindset for singing, which gives you the ability to get out there and open up and be vulnerable and share and feel confident and feel like you own the stage you're standing on, check that box. Not going to work very well, right? Those 2, you could have the best technique in the world, and if you don't have those boxes ready to go, nobody's going to care. But interestingly enough, if you have those 2 boxes checked and you've got the mindset and you've got the performance chops, and you're connecting not only to yourself, but to the lyric, to the music, to the audience. You could have the worst technique in the world and bring the house down. Absolutely. And we've seen it many, many times. I mean, there are a lot of singers that I absolutely love that if you put them up against somebody with like a world-class technique, they're going to fall short. Now, I'm going to mention a couple, and I don't mean this to put anybody in a category of not being good, because I'm telling you right now that when we judge by the criteria of a perfect vocal technique, these are not two gentlemen that you would put in that category. You know, people you'd put in that category would be like Dimash. Franco Corelli is a great opera singer. You know, there are many pop singers. Bublé has a great technique. Andrea Bocelli, obviously. You know, Jeff Tate had a great technique. And just because I'm leaving somebody out, you know, don't get mad at me. You know, just these are off the top of my head. There are a million people. Kelly Clarkson has a great technique. Carrie Underwood has a great technique. There are a million people with great techniques, right? They're able to do this stuff. But two people I wouldn't put in a great technique category that I absolutely adore would be Joe Cocker and John Lennon, right? Now, you're not going to ever say that they have the classic perfect vocal technique, right? But, you know, I could listen to Mad Dogs and Englishmen all day, and I could listen to Lennon all day, right? I love these guys. I would never have wanted them to change what they do by developing a great technique, because they would have lost their individuality, right? They would have lost that magic that they have. And so many of us forget about the magic first, and we try to over-technique ourselves to death, right? We figure, well, if I can't hit that note or I can't do that, then I can't make a difference in the world as an artist. I can't be heard. I can't be known. I have to have that high note. I have to do it as good as this singer. You know, that's just not true. The first thing is get in touch with who you are, your reality, your essence, your unique ability and your uniqueness. Don't technique yourself out of your unique sound. That's one thing as a teacher, I never let any of my students technique themselves out of their unique sound, because it's your unique sound, it's your unique feel, it's what you bring to the world, it's your fingerprint, it's the only voice like you is you, right? It's a snowflake, it's the uniqueness of a snowflake, it's the uniqueness of a fingerprint, it's the uniqueness of your voice print. Why do you think that now with our iPhone, we can have voice activated, right? Because nobody sounds like us. There are these subtle differences in our voice. Oh yeah, we could say, like I just heard a cover of a guy singing Separate Ways, did a great job. Sounded a little bit like Perry, but brought his own thing to it, right? If he sounded exactly like Perry, wouldn't that be kind of a drag? I mean, because Perry's already Perry. It's like, well, yeah, but this guy sounds exactly like Perry. I don't know, then why don't I listen to Perry? Versus, wow, this guy really brings something unique to it that's his own. You should hear his version. It's really great. Ooh, cool, now I'm interested, right? I want to hear something unique. The great singers, the great artists that we love are all unique. Nobody sounds like them. Sting, Elton John, Billy Joel, John Lennon, Paul McCartney. In modern terms right now, Hozier. Nobody sounds like him. Guy's amazing, right? I know I'm probably mentioning all guys. Let's that's probably not a good thing. It's just they're just popping into my mind, right? Aretha Franklin, nobody sounds like Aretha Franklin. Celine Dion, nobody sounds like Celine. Mariah Carey, nobody sounded like Mariah Carey. Kelly Clarkson, nobody sounds like Kelly Clarkson. Carrie Underwood, nobody sounds like Carrie Underwood. Nobody sounds like Adele. Nobody sounds like Beyonce. There, sorry, you thought I didn't know. I know all of these people. Don't worry about it. So it's uniqueness, right? It's uniqueness. And yeah, one might argue, yeah, but they're all great singers. They're all great techniques. Well, they're all individual singers. If individual techniques, they don't all do the same stuff, right? The point is, if you're going to focus on technique, make sure you have the other two going. Make sure you have the mindset. Make sure you have the performance chops. Otherwise, don't waste your time with the technique, because who's going to care, right? Get them all. Get all three. But don't lose sight of the presence with yourself, understanding, being present with where you are. being present with the lyric, being present with the communication of that song, of that lyric, and getting really, really grounded emotionally. So you open the door and you're vulnerable so the audience can begin to have their own experience. If you're having an experience, the audience will have theirs. They won't have yours, but you will allow them to have one, right? But if you don't have an experience past, I hope I remember the words, or I'm getting a little nervous, or I hope I get this note, there'll be tension, and the audience will not be able to let themselves go on a journey into their own experience because they will be unconsciously trying to take care of you on the stage, and it will not be worth the money to them. They will not want to do that more than once. So connect with yourself, connect with your mindset, and then work on your technique as you see fit to get as good as you want to get. But don't lose yourself in technique. I can say this for 32 years of experience. I know this to be true, okay? So if you would like to learn all about the stuff that I teach, and I'm talking the mindset and the performance and the technique, all three of them in what I call the MTP Formula, grab my Fearless Singing book and all its bonuses absolutely free. That technique part of that will show you how to develop great high notes, a great mix, how to really master your tone and anything really that's going on with your voice. But it's also going to show you and give you a lot of exercises for performance and how to develop performance chops, things that nobody does these days, that if you do them, you're going to be head and shoulders above other singers. I promise you that. And the mindset. Great singers know that the most important thing is mindset. Great business people know it. Successful people know it. People these days know. When you talk to a successful person, no matter what, whether it's making money, whether it's arts, doesn't matter. You say, what's the most important thing? They will say, mindset. 100% of the time. So if you don't think that mindset is the most important thing, then you should really kind of re-examine your belief and ask yourself, why don't I think that if the most successful people on the planet do? Because that's what I've had to ask myself. Because I used to say, mindset, how can that be that important? I got to get high notes, man. Oh, it's my mindset that's preventing me from getting the high notes. Oh, that's starting to make sense now. So if you want to find this stuff out and how I teach this, grab my free Fearless Singing book. Become a fearless singer in all three: technique, mindset, and performance. Okay, and all the bonuses that go along with it. Great bonuses. I've got my THF system, thin it out, hook it up, and fill it in. 30-minute video that comes along with that book. You can read the book in less than an hour. Enough said. Anyway, thanks for joining me. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. And there's a video around here somewhere. I suggest that you watch it. It's probably pretty good. And I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.